and welcome back to the Win and Pride Podcast. It's Sam, man.
I thought it was going to be normal for a while.
I know.
Then
Well, I forgot I was trying to mix it up.
then you went to it.
Then I got there.
James.
Country roads, take me home. You guys, if you...
Breaking news. We are on location in Weston, West Virginia.
We're on the weird, quite possibly one of the weirdest places.
This has been a very weird field
in a
trip.
good way. So if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice we are sitting in a hotel room in Weston, West Virginia, which is quite literally one of the smallest towns I've ever, well, minus Wisconsin, where James is from.
Yeah, I grew up in smaller towns than this, so let's not forget that.
But we're in a very small town, middle of nowhere, West Virginia. And a lot of you are probably like, how did you get here? What happened?
We drove.
What are you doing?
Jesus.
And we'll get to
that.
Next question. We'll get to that. But we do have a great episode for you. It is going to be a little bit focused on our little trip to West Virginia. Give you guys a little bit of a down low. When this video is uploaded, we will have already done the thing that we're here for. But it'll be kind of fun to see, some predictions that we have going into tonight. And when this comes out, what actually happens? Like, we will be different people on Monday.
So what you're telling me is we need to come up with a asylum bingo card?
Yes.
Got it.
Actually, yeah, we should. That actually is funny.
You just gave me that idea.
Yeah, that's actually
I already
funny.
made a Green Bay Packer playoff bingo card. Go Packers. Now we'll make an asylum
Another big
bingo.
thing is Packers.
Lunatic Asylum.
Lunatic Asylum bingo.
And we can't get canceled for saying that because it's actually
The
called
actual name.
a lunatic asylum.
It really is. I didn't even know there's
They still use that word.
But, obviously they don't really use that word. But anyways.
They do.
We'll get to that.
No.
Do
it's
they?
in the name.
No, I know. But like nowadays, like if
No,
they were
we
to
should
open up
not.
a hospital,
No.
you wouldn't call it a lunatic asylum.
I'm a Packer lunatic.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. Okay, guys. So right now it is Saturday, January 20th. And basically 2 months ago, I got reached out. As you guys know, I'm from Maine. And one of my best friends from high school in Maine, her mom reaches out to me. This is 2 months ago. And she goes, hey, Sam, obviously, I'm still friends with, her name's Jack. What's up, Jack? If she's listening to this. She was like, this actually isn't for Jack. I need help with a Christmas gift this year. And her youngest daughter, so one of my best friend from high school's youngest sister, one of her bucket list dreams has always been to do an overnight ghost hunt. And she reached out to me and she was like, this is like her bucket list. This is all she wants for Christmas. And she's also had some health issues over the years. Like, I remember when we were in high school, like she was in and out of the hospital all the time. She has epilepsy. And I don't know if she wants me sharing too much about that, actually. Cut that. But anyways, this is like one of her dreams. Her mom reaches out, my best friend from high school's mom. And she's like, can you help my daughter and come to this, come with her on this asylum. Come with her to this asylum ghost hunt. And 2 months ago, I love ghost stuff. If you guys see my stuff, whenever we go to other cities, James can attest, I'm always looking where is the closest haunted place? Can we stay if we go to a hotel? Can we stay at a haunted hotel? I just always have been really fascinated. James puts up with me for that. And I always have just been really interested. I used to see ghosts when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this multiple times on here, but I'm always happy to talk about my ghost stories. But I've always just had a really big fascination with the paranormal, obviously with anything weird, but especially, because I'd seen ghosts as a kid and I was really, I hate when people say this, but I was very much kind of an empath as a kid and just always loved, I don't know what it is people, that why I am so fascinated. I just there is this crazy question of what happens after we die, and because I'd seen them when I was younger, I think now I just am even more, I'm I really haven't had an experience. There've been little things here and there, when we went to New Orleans.
your best experience, if I may interject, and I should have brought it up on the American Oddities trip the Appalachian Oddities we were just at.
Savannah.
Savannah.
Yeah. So literally, like, we've pretty much been to like every haunted city in the U.S.
We've
We went to
been
New
to a lot.
Orleans. We like literally we will go. Like we went to Savannah just because it's so haunted.
And we've done ghost tours in every one of these towns.
Yeah, multiple. We've gone to Salem. Like we've done a lot of this stuff. So, and I caught like a gorgeous orb on camera in Savannah, but like, you know, like that's not still like really seeing. In New Orleans, like, you know, there was a sound like a coffee mug dropped, and it was just like, okay, it could have been on the edge, you know, it could have really fallen. Like, was it really a ghost? I don't know. So, and obviously James has never experienced anything really. Like, I mean, would
Nope.
you ever say no? And James is obviously very much a skeptic, I think.
Whatever term you want to use.
I would say skeptic.
That's fine.
Because
I'm still curious.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's not like you're completely closed-minded, but you're skeptical. You're like, okay, I've never really seen proof. You have gone obviously on with me on all these trips and all these ghost tours, but you're never really like,
could I be impeding
scared.
Your ability to see because I'm a skeptic?
Well, you know, there's always this like theory that like ghosts, you really only see ghosts if you believe in them.
Yep.
You know, and so I always wonder, like, is it, you know, you have never seen anything because you really don't believe in them.
And there's dog people. Dogs love me, right?
Dogs love you.
That's, but maybe because I don't have the blind faith or belief.
Maybe. I don't know, but I just, you know,
I just don't want to hold you back.
No, you're not holding me back. But it also will be kind of nice to have you there because I know you're not going to be like completely freaked out. Like it almost is kind of nice that you're just kind of like, yeah, you know, you're not shitting your pants.
I'm excited to see what we get. This place looks really cool.
Nonetheless, so, you know, so going back, I know I just like went on a rant, but you know, she invited me to, you know, the mom, my friend's mom invited me to go with her youngest daughter, and she says she's always wanted to do an overnight ghost tour, and she's always had on her list this Trans Alleghany Lunatic Asylum. It's one of the most haunted places in the United States for sure, maybe one of the most haunted places in the world. And she wants to do, there's an overnight ghost hunt, but it's in Weston, West Virginia. So she basically was like, you know, she knows, you know, my daughter knows how much you love the ghost stuff, loves the haunted stuff. And obviously not everyone is, you know, would want to come and do like an overnight. Like it doesn't even start. I mean, technically we have to be there at like 9, but it goes from 9 till 5 a.m. You can, like, technically you can leave early. Like that would give me so much anxiety if like they were like, you literally cannot leave till 5 a.m. Like that would actually give me a ton of anxiety just for like also safety reasons. Like I feel like that's like to lock you in there and just be like, okay, see you at 5.
There you go.
Yeah. But it's overnight. It is a small group. Apparently there can be up to 50 people, but tonight there's only 19 of us.
Travel's been rough.
So I'm curious too, like how many people are actually going to show up because they have been getting a crazy snowstorm down here, which I didn't even know. Like when she had told me 2 months ago, like, do you want to come? You know, we'll cover your ticket. We'll cover the cost for you to come down. Like I would just really appreciate, because she, you know, the mom was like, I'm not friggin' doing that. You know, she was like, I don't know anyone else that would. She likes watching your stuff and she likes, you know, that she knows you already. You know, obviously I've been family friends with them, and she knows that you love this kind of stuff. So it'd mean a lot if you would come with, and obviously James just, of course, is included. And so, and I was like, West Virginia, like that is a lot south of us. And when we were looking for even like maybe flying down here, it just didn't make any sense. There's not any close airports.
Nope.
So it just like we would have to fly into like Pittsburgh or Washington, D.C., and then drive another 2-3 hours. So it's like, you know, it's 7-hour drive from where we live. So we're like, we'll just drive. But I was just thinking like, okay, it is in January, but I figured it would be at least a little bit warmer. Like I didn't think it was going to be 70.
It is in the Appalachian Mountain Range.
It is in the Appalachian Mountains, as I am constantly reminded. But it's freezing here, colder here than it is where our home is in Stanford. And so So it's Saturday. So we get ready to leave. And first, also, with just all the drama that's been going on with all the animals, Kiara's terminally ill. I can't remember if we've updated on here. I think we had known the last time we did the podcast that Kiara has terminal cancer. So I'm like, oh, do I want to leave Kiara? We have this new puppy. Like, she's still, it's a lot of work, like, to ask someone to be like, hey, can you watch a new puppy
And
who wakes up every 3 hours and needs to pee every 2 to 3 hours and give meds and like watch over a terminally ill cat. But so for a while I was like, oh, maybe James can't come. Now maybe he has to stay home. Like, it was just trying to find someone who would like take on that responsibility and someone we trusted and I knew would like give us a ton of updates. It was too much. And especially like too, if Kiara was really sick, like I wanted to be able to, be there and be like, okay, we're going to the emergency room, Anyways, we found someone. So for a while I wasn't sure if James was going to be able to go, but he was able to. We got the cat sitter or animal sitter. And we decided to leave Friday. So the ghost hunt is tonight, Saturday. We start driving yesterday to West Virginia. Now, the first couple hours were really not that bad.
Nope, not bad at all.
And it was snowing the entire way. As soon as we were leaving Stamford, it was snowing.
Little flakes.
Yeah, little flakes, but like the roads weren't bad. Everything was super salted. So the first couple hours were like, get through New York City, get through New Jersey. Then we're pretty much in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And we're like, okay, now we're starting to get hungry. At least we're through like the big cities. We're through like if there were going to be any traffic. And we're like, now we're starting to get hungry. And it's like, we need gas, take a break. We're like halfway through. So we break in this, I can't remember the name of the town.
I don't believe it really was a town.
Okay. It might have been an incorporated township.
It was definitely unincorporated.
Yes, which is where James is from, an incorporated township town, which are like not real towns. Like you can't find them on the map. And again, it also took us way too long to even try and find a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because there just was nothing.
Nope.
And this was, there were like a couple others, but because the snow was starting to even get worse.
Bunch of places were closed.
So we find, what was it? Pizza Time 3? Or it was like Pizza Party 3?
Pizza Time 3, I think it was.
I think it was like Pizza Blast 3 or something.
Pizza Time 3.
I think you're wrong. Now I need to look that up.
Okay, you look
Pizza
it up.
Star 3.
Pizza Star 3.
Pizza Star 3.
Because there are 3 of them.
Because she did say there were 3 of them.
They were so nice.
They were the sweetest. And I loved too. Everything was homemade, even their marinara, their ranch. He homemade all his dough.
Legit good pizza.
It was good. But we got our pizza and we were like, all right, now we're ready. It was about like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Or it was closer to 5.
5 o'clock.
And we're like, all right, we're going to make the rest of the journey. Hopefully we should be able to make it there by like, this point it was like 7:38. Or closer to 8, the phone said. At this point, like it was another like 3-4 hours.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
It was probably closer to 8 that we were.
No, it was closer to. Isn't that 9?
Yeah, maybe it was.
It's like late 8:45 until.
Well, also all of that yellow, like the storm.
Then
was
we
building
saw
up with
all
traffic.
the yellow on your Google Maps.
Yeah,
and you know what happens when you see the yellow on your maps.
Yeah, so we're like heading down. It's starting to get dark out, and we're like starting to make the turn into Maryland. And I noticed like the main road, which is supposed to be like a turnpike. I don't know if it was a turnpike, but a highway, whatever. The definition.
We were on a turnpike.
When we turned on to like the scary road in Maryland, was that technically a turnpike? Whatever.
Oh no, that was an interstate.
So the yellow turns up and it starts snowing again pretty hard. And within like 5 minutes, we're in a snow squall.
It's like whiteout.
And I'm from Maine. He's from Wisconsin. Like I've driven in pretty bad snowstorms. I've driven in like 8 inches of snow, like snowstorms, nor'easters. Like I feel pretty confident. My car's pretty good, but you guys, this was the worst snowstorm I've probably ever had to drive through because it was in Maryland. So like I also just don't think they had the resources and the preparedness. Is that a word? Preparedness.
It is a word. Great job.
Great job. Big word. That, a state like Maine or Connecticut, you know, like
They do not have
Connecticut,
as many
like
snowplows and salt.
yeah,
They
like
just
if
don't.
it's gonna even barely snow, like people are already going by our driveway and down our streets, like they're on top of it. So the roads were just horrible.
Mhm.
Like no one had plowed these roads. There was barely any salt. I mean, if any.
Well, it was also to the point that you could consider it not necessarily super safe for the plows to be out.
Literally.
They were also at risk. It's not like they're immune to it. So that's
Right.
another potential reason we didn't see as many.
Yeah. It was, talk about like white knuckles. Like my wrists and knuckle and like hands hurt from gripping the wheel so hard. And like I was like up straight, like just out of my mind, no music on, no podcast. Like I needed to focus 110%. It was so scary. And it went on for like, you know, we're like, okay, this is not gonna be that bad. You know, I don't really mind the roads being that bad because I can kind of navigate it, but it's when the visibility is low. Like when the wind would pick up and the snow was so light,
Visibility was awful.
you could not see 2 feet ahead of you. So like everyone had their hazards light on, and it just like, it was like, I do not know where I'm driving. And we, you know, almost pulled over and we're like, okay, maybe we just pull over. But it's like there was nowhere to pull over. If you pull over, you're going to get stuck there.
And the exits were worse.
Yeah,
way
the
worse
exits leaving because no one was
the
driving.
main roads. Yeah.
It was like, we're going to get stuck. And then, you know, of course, we just seen Society of the Snow. So I'm like, oh my God, if we get stuck and then, you know, no one finds us and then we freeze to it. Like, if like I was like, James, if I die, like, you can eat my body. Like, what if we have to like eat each other? Like, I was like, James, if we die,
we had a pizza
like,
in the back.
That's true. But like, you know, like that's what I started thinking of. I was like, if we get stuck here, like, do we have enough water? Like, could we make it? Like, thank God we had just filled up on gas. I was like, that would have been even more miserable.
You handled it so well. Like, you turning off the music and the pot, I thought was a very smart idea to stay focused.
Yeah,
you really did a good job.
Put the hazards on. Literally, we were going 20 miles per hour, so it added on like another hour and a half.
At least.
And it was just so scary. Literally, I was like, how many near-death experiences do I need to have in this lifetime? Like within a couple months. Like we just are attract storms.
West Virginia.
So after an hour of driving through that and literally thinking we were going to die, honestly, we finally get to West Virginia. And it was almost like as soon as we got to West Virginia, roads were clear.
Well, the funny part was when we turned south. So we're heading west this whole time.
Yeah.
And you could even see on the radar. So if you go to your weather, look at the radar, you could see that just south of us, there was theoretically no snow. And it wasn't. We turned south, maybe drove 7-8 minutes. It was not 10 minutes. No snow. So in other words, if we could have somehow diverted south, which there really wasn't a way to do it, we could have got out of it. We were right on the edge.
It was just so risky because it's like, if we get off this, you know, this is the biggest like road and feels like it's the safest because there were a ton of trucks out.
We could have easily got, if we would have gone south, we very much
would have been a better place.
It would, like, it's big risk, big reward, right?
Yeah. It was just, I was like, you know what? As long as I can stay going 20 miles per hour, you know, luckily most people are being really respectful. Like I was like, I feel like we're all on this journey together because every car, you know, like there was a car in front of me
going 30 miles an hour,
even less than that. Like we were going 20 at some point,
like
really? 15, 20, especially when the visibility was bad. Oh my God, that was so stressful. I literally was like wanted to cry, but we made it through. So our first life or death, one of many, but the first of this trip, check, we made it through. So after we're in West Virginia, we're good. We're like, okay, when we get close to our hotel, I need like to decompress. Like, I just don't want to go back to the hotel room immediately. We're like, we need to find a townie bar.
I want a local townie bar.
Yeah. So, and we looked up a bunch and I was like, no, I don't want to go to like a chain restaurant.
Nope.
We need like a literal, like a family, like where we ended up finding like half of it was like a house. Like the family lives upstairs.
And that's where we found Blues.
And that's how we found Blues. And it was, I mean, it was everything. If you watch, you know, again, if you're following on Instagram, you probably saw it literally was like in a basement. It was like a frat basement.
It was amazing.
Like potluck supper. So how they do food is like, I'm guessing probably the bar makes the food.
Yep.
I would assume. Potlucks, there's 3 just like
Slow cookers.
Slow cookers. I never looked what was in there because I was too scared to.
Beans.
Yeah, it was like beans and like pulled pork.
There was like pulled. Yeah, there was. It was great.
And it was like what, $7 for a plate.
$10 to go.
$10 to go. So you could either pay $7, have a plate, or pay $10 to take a takeout.
Yep.
Shuffleboard competition.
They take their shuffleboard.
Apparently,
dead serious
shuffleboard
in
is
West
a really
Virginia.
big thing around here.
Yeah, they are all about it.
All about it. So there's a shuffleboard competition, and then of course, cherry on top, there was what they called their DJ. So all we saw was like they had a Facebook post. It was like a DJ is gonna be here tonight. And we're like, oh shit! And not only was he any DJ, he was a karaoke DJ. So
winner karaoke dinner.
Tore it up. I mean, it was funny walking into this place. Like half the people left once we got there. I felt like. Did you? I think that?
Some of them were on the way out. They warmed up to us.
Yeah.
We have a certain charm about us.
Yeah, I think once we got there, everyone's like, "Where are you?" Like this is very much everyone knows each other.
It was like the scene out of the movie where the jukebox skips when you walk in the door.
Yeah,
it's very much like that.
Where are you
guys from? A lot of eyes on us.
Like as soon as we walk in, they're like, "Where are you guys from?" But a lot of these guys know, like we're in the town where the ghost hunt places. So a lot of people, when you said, they're like, oh yeah,
we're here to go to the asylum, and they're like, oh, and they started talking to us about it.
Yeah. And then we're like, okay, we got to show them what we really got, and what we really got is some fucking power vocals. We got skills. So we get on the karaoke. I wasn't thinking about the audience. I was thinking good times, good vibes. So I put on "I'm Too Sexy." Then even more of the half of the bar
people listening need to watch the dance routine that you put together.
I put on
choreographed.
I know that song so embarrassingly well. Like it's one of the best songs of all time.
Easily one of the best songs of all time.
And I have a whole dance, but no one was impressed. And I, as soon as I sat down, like every other karaoke song they were singing was like classic country.
Like, yep.
So I was like, yeah, I think I fucked up the vibes in here.
You did a great job. No, they loved you.
No, they hated
me. He came right over and wanted you to come back and sing.
Oh, and I was like, okay. And even like no one was clapping after I sang.
I clapped.
And like one lady felt bad as she was walking in from smoking her cigarette, and she was noticing no one clapping. She's like, give it up for her, guys. Come on. So embarrassing. But then James got on the mic.
Neil Diamond.
Classic Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline.
We had people leaning over the railing.
People were going absolutely wild. The crowd went wild.
I was a crowd favorite.
They loved James. And yeah, I think that's what he really was coming back for you.
I gave a West Virginia shout out in the middle of mine too.
He was like shouting out West Virginia. He was like, West Virginia rocks. Like he was playing to the audience, and that's where I went wrong.
I play to the audience a little bunch.
Yeah, you're like, what
do
they
still
want?
play
what
a song I love, but I'm like, what do they need right now?
What do they need?
And then Alabama Mountain Music.
Oh yeah, and then he played out. I know. They you knew what they needed.
I knew what they needed.
Yeah. So they love James, and I think they finally warmed up to us. We were there, hung out with them, hang with our people. And then we came back to our hotel. Now we've been staying in the hotel. It's Saturday. We did a little tour of West Virginia. Well, we just like drove around.
What's maybe a call in what's a great random place that you've gone and found something weird out about a community? And I'm speaking to our listeners now.
Yeah.
Have you been on a weird vacation before and seen just something that you did not expect?
Yes. Well, like that, like a weird vacation story. Well, we were talking about this last night, that it was like, sometimes I do feel like going to some of these small kind of off the beaten path towns are way more fun than like going to a major city.
Couldn't agree more.
This is like what we're doing. Element.
Love what we're doing.
But like we were just driving around today, and everyone's so friendly here. And like some people are like, are you making fun of West Virginia? First of all, never. And I actually have always wanted to come here just because there is a ton of history. There's a lot of just like with the Appalachian Mountains. There's a lot of stories that come out of it. Like all of these legends, like we were just talking with some woman today. It was like all of these different monsters, or like Bigfoot who have been
Bigfoot
seen.
area down here.
Big Bigfoot area. there's just so much that comes out, a lot of folklore that comes from this part of the country.
And it's kind of nice not having a ton of choices of what to do. Like picking places to eat. Everyone recommends the same 3 places.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like, all right, this is what we're doing. No thought. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, it was funny. I'm like laughing, and I'd made a post and be like, where should we go to eat in West Virginia? People are like, there's not many options.
And that's okay.
But it's fine.
But what we found has been fabulous.
What we found has been fabulous. And again, it's all like home cooked. It's not, again, like a fine, filet mignon, but I had a great steak wrap today, this little place. And
love the small town vacation.
Love the small town. And obviously the small town, what was the population? 4,000 people, you said?
A little over 4,000 was the last one I saw.
Yeah. So obviously like the main town, downtown too, is, does revolve around a lot of this lunatic asylum too. A lot of the tourism.
There seems to be probably some level of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm sure a lot of people do come, far and wide to come to this, the ghost hunt. But we also found this little museum. What was it? It was like the American Oddities Museum.
Appalachian
Oddities Museum. Appalachian Oddities Museum. And the woman there,
Katie, so sweet,
is one of the lead ghost hunters at the asylum. And
this is why you go explore things in a town.
Yeah. And it had so many cool stuff. You could see, her and her boyfriend, I think it was her boyfriend, Aaron, who also is one of the ghost hunters at the asylum, who she said, she's like, oh, he should be there tonight. He might be one of your tour guide.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, ghost hunter, not tour guide.
Well, yeah, I don't really know exactly.
We'll call him a ghost hunter. I like the ghost hunter.
So we were talking with her. She was telling us all these stories, and she was saying that, so of course it's freezing here. It's still freezing here. It's like 19 degrees. That because it's so cold out, and again, normally there are groups of 50 and people can just go on and buy tickets. Like if you go to the Trans Alleghany Lunatic Asylum.com or whatever, go to their website, you can buy tickets, and there are multiple different types of tours. So there's like a daytime tour. Then there is like a nighttime flashlight tour. But they actually don't really do as many of these in the winter months because it just is so freezing and
travel's tough.
And travel is really tough. So they really are only do like maybe 2 of these a month, these overnight ghost hunts, which are a little bit more expensive and, a little bit more catered to the crazy people. But
the lunatics, so to speak.
And we, there's, again, I think, they can max out at 50, but normally with these colder months, it's smaller groups. So there's 19 of us. And she was saying normally with small groups and when it's frigid cold out, you see a ton of activity. So, and because they're more spread apart, like in the summer and during Halloween, they are doing like nighttime ghost hunts.
I can't imagine how busy this is. One, this place would be absolutely gorgeous in the fall. I mean, it's gorgeous right now. I know, we keep
saying,
so beautiful down here.
Really, it is pretty. We're in the mountains. Like there are little creeks and rivers along like the drive. Like we were saying last night, we're like, if we weren't like literally risking our lives right now on the road, it would be a gorgeous
if we weren't on the verge of death.
Yeah. And it is so pretty, but I would, it'd be like, there'd be more to do because you could do more outside. And that's a big draw to being here is, we're like, oh, we'd love to go on a hike, but it's just way too cold. So yes, we're doing that tonight, guys. And again, when this comes out, we will have already done it. So this could be our last podcast episode. So say your goodbyes. It's been fun. It's been weird. Don't forget us. And in our honor, something you could do is buy our merch.
Oh, the merch. We got some merch on right now.
We do have our merch. If you haven't been watching on Instagram, the merch is officially up. If you go to SamanthaRamsdell.com, you'll see there's a shop little tab that you can click and it'll bring you to the merch shop. We have sweatshirts that say Weird and Proud in purple and blue and green and blue. And then we also have lavish t-shirts. So a little something for everyone. Obviously, as we continue to grow, we'll add on some other stuff. Someone was like, we need a Gorgina shirt. We need to know James.
You know what I like about the merch?
What do you like about it, James?
When I wore the other versions of the merch, like the Weird and Proud,
Yeah.
It's unique. No one ever has it.
No one has a weird and proud shirt.
And you might not be the type of person that wears something new, unique. So if you're not, that's okay. But if you don't mind a shirt that's going to cause a bit of a detention grabber,
yeah,
like when I wear it in airports or other places,
Yeah.
people are like, "What's weird and proud?"
Yeah.
And I won't even necessarily plug the podcast. I just say
I'm weird.
It's an attitude.
And I'm
It's a
proud.
vibe.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Yeah. So basically, if you're weird and proud,
if you're a
you
vibe,
need the vibe.
If you're a vibe, or if you're just lavish and you want to lavish and you're just living lavish life.
And it's honestly comfy as shit.
So comfortable. These sweatshirts are literally the most comfortable. I never want to take them off. So we got they're normally what happens is we do a pre-sale for about 2 weeks and then we ship them out right after. So it should be, if you order, you'll get them like mid-February, maybe mid-February-ish.
Makes a great Valentine's Day present.
Great Valentine's Day present for someone you love, for another weirdo, or for you, self-love.
Or if you think someone weird and you don't know how to tell them that, send it to them anonymously.
Yes. A little surprise gift. Who doesn't love a surprise gift?
Yeah.
Right?
Shock the shit out of them.
So before we get into it, I was trying to think if there's anything else on the asylum, but I guess you'll just have to stay tuned. We are going to put out a vlog. I've been vlogging away, contenting away while we're here. So you should see another part where we go into, the real behind the scenes of us going into the asylum tonight. But wish us luck. I'm nervous, but I'm excited, and hopefully we don't freeze to death. But
I'm nervous for the Packer game.
James has a big Packers game tonight. I know. We do have a little bit, obviously, of the rest of the show that is non-lunatic related. Didn't you?
I have something involving a location.
Yes. Well,
that is weird.
That James had sent me this, and I know we kind of used our West Virginia trip this weekend as a weird news segment, but you did have a follow-up.
So we talked about rooms last week that people find when they're renovating, or random rooms in houses that exist. And there was a story in my head, but I didn't get time to tell it. And so I wanted to share it in this one for you, because I think you need to know more about it too.
Yeah.
Is in one of the coolest and weirdest countries in the world, Turkey, where some of the theorized as one of the starts of civilization might have started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's places in Africa that have a lot of archaeological significance that it might have been there. There's other places around the world that people say, no, it's here. Well, there is some stuff in Turkey that is amazing. One is Göbekli Tepe. So if you ever look up Göbekli, Gobleki, nope, there's a lot more to it than that. Göbekli with a G, Tepe,
Okay.
T-E-P-A-I. It's one of the first created hubs of civilization, and this was theoretically even before we were harvesting crops. This was oftentimes we think, harvesting crops is what created civilization. This might be
fascinating.
Near there.
Okay.
There was in 1963.
Okay.
Somebody was renovating a house in Turkey, and they
found. This was in 1963.
Well, okay. No. Well, they found a tunnel behind the basement in their house, and they're like, "What is this tunnel? Where does it go?"
Yeah.
Well, this tunnel is part of an area called Derinkuyu, Derinkuyu. Okay. And if you like weird stuff like this, you need to look up Derinkuyu.
Okay.
These tunnels were actually what is an ancient underground city that could have housed up to 20,000 people.
What? But in 1963.
They found this. So before 1963, they did not know that this underground city existed.
Okay. So what have they done with it now since
ancient. Then? So they've explored what they think might be a majority of it, but there's so much more that is still unexplored.
So what is it? What is it just chilling there?
So what they think it was, most likely, was one, it was, depending on how old it was an escape for people for sure during times of massive war, when the Roman army was probably
this
coming
in someone's house.
Yeah. The tunnels were found
a tunnel
that led to an archaeological discovery of an underground city that could have housed 20,000 people.
What happened to their house?
It's part of now this archaeological.
Yeah, I was gonna say you better get your home value.
It's so big,
skyrocketed.
There's so many homes above it because it's completely underground. And of course, they did their research on it, right? There's areas where there were burial chambers, right? There's areas that they know were used as defense for this, like where they carved an entire city, and it goes down 85 meters, which is basically a football field deep.
Yeah.
They used aqueducts to get water from
This is
underground
in
wells.
Turkey.
This is in Turkey, yeah. And you can go tour it for like $200. So it sounds
Let's
very
go.
interesting. Oh, this sounds cool as hell.
Well, that's what's going to be my other questions. Like,
you would
I
be
was also obsessed with
claustrophobic
like
as
the
heck in
Paris
this.
catacombs. Remember
This
we had
is
this
way bigger than like this is
really bigger
way
than the
older
Paris catacombs
and older. Much
What?
older.
I love a secret underground tunnel,
This
secret society
is
underneath.
one of the most studied and probably one of the most misunderstood because it's so old they don't know. There's some people that theorize, now this one might be a little crazy, that it's 10,000 years old.
What?
And that it was used potentially during like the Ice Age.
What?
And that people went
Dinosaurs?
went down. How old do you think dinosaurs
10,000
are?
years just sounds like a lot.
No. The dinosaurs died like 65 million years ago.
That's old? 65 million?
Yeah.
Aw.
10,000 isn't that much.
Oh, okay.
That's
I thought they would be a little.
Good job. I'm proud of you. So
Shut
Darren
up.
Kuyu was it. So even if this thing is 2,000-3,000 years old, it's super old. Now they're saying the 10,000-year-old when the last ice age was, that would be a little crazy, but it would make sense because if it's underground, the Earth's heat like
warms it up.
It's warm. Yep.
Yeah.
So they know that this was an extensive tunnel system that's also potentially connected to 80 to 90 other smaller underground type townships in Turkey.
What? We got to go to Turkey.
Darren
I would
Kuyu.
actually really love to go to Turkey.
Gobekli Tepe and Darren Kuyu. Put them on the list.
All
I want
right,
in.
I'm putting them on the list, James. Thank you, James, for that gorgeous weird news update. And here's another thing that I meant to say too. If you guys also have ever found anything, if you've bought an old house, if you've like had to renovate like an old apartment or something, and if you found something creepy, I need to know. You need to know if it was like weird, creepy, something old they put in a wall, or like if you found a secret something, call us in, because that to me, that is just cool. Like same as like, that's why I also just like love exploring abandoned places. Like it's just so much mystery, and it's like, what was this used for? Who was this? Like another person years and years and years ago had this idea for me, for someone to see this eventually. I don't know. It's just crazy. History's crazy.
Very crazy.
Do you agree? Do you think history's crazy?
I agree. No, I'm not
really
interested at all.
Do you really though, James? All right. Anything else you want to say other than go Packers?
I just wanted to go off about Darren Kuyu.
I know you were really passionate about that, but I do love that about you. We also, the one weird watch for this week too was the American, this is on Netflix. Everyone's talking about it. I don't want to give too much away because
don't give too much away on this one.
No.
Don't give. We'll do this for
American Nightmare.
Watch it
on Netflix. Very much a Gone Girl type of show. If you ever read that book or saw the movie. And just not what you ever thought. It's a really good watch. I know everyone's talking about it. It's like top movies, or I think it's a show.
Don't give too much away on this one.
I know you really can't discuss it because if you discuss any of it, it'll give it away. But worth the watch. Go check it out
for sure.
Now, before we get into secrets, anything else, James?
Nope.
You guys, we're literally about to go into one of the most haunted places in the world. I literally can't stop thinking about it. But before we do, we're going to do some quick secrets. We got 2 good ones this week. We need some more. We need some more secrets. I love that people call in with like little tips or, obviously we love when you call in and say how much you love us.
If you have called in and we might have missed something.
Yeah, if we missed
please
it or
recall in with a secret.
Again,
honestly.
Too, if the sound isn't great, like there are a couple of them just like, the sound quality, I can't hear it.
And because it's anonymous, we don't know how to reach out to you to ask you to resubmit.
I know that's the thing too, is there's a couple that I'm like, I wish I could respond to you and be like, hey, can you like call this back in or, add this. It's obviously anonymous. So,
and if you've been to Darren Kuyu or Gobekli Tepe, please
or
call in.
West Virginia, if you've ever been to West Virginia, tell us some creepy West Virginia stories. There are so many good, like, folklore West Virginia.
For sure.
Like Appalachian Mountain, crazy stuff that happens out here. So call call in. If there are any West Virginians out there, call in. We love you. Also, again, no hate to West Virginia. I love that it's weird and
I
there's
think
good
it's
folklore.
funny that people think we were picking on it because genuinely, this is
No,
cool.
we're obsessed.
Yeah.
So with that being said, if you want to call in and leave us a weird voicemail, you can call in too. That's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Again, speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. You can leave up to a minute and 30 seconds, always anonymous. And we love hearing your secrets. And even like, don't be nervous. Like, no one will know your voice, by the way. I know some people, get nervous. Don't be nervous. I can always like edit some stuff, if you put an or a pause, but it's all good. You're not, we don't expect it to be perfect. All right, James, are you ready?
Prepared.
Here we go.
Okay, so the story from the sex ed teacher got me thinking about my own sex ed teacher in junior high. This teacher had been there for such a long time. My uncle had him when he was a student teacher, and when he was a student teacher, he got caught at the school watching porn, like on those, VCR TV setup things that the school would have. So how he was still there, I have no idea. And this teacher was also known for handing out Jolly Ranchers to students. And every time he would hand out Jolly Ranchers, he would be like, "Oh, what color do you want?" And then he would say, "The green one makes you horny." Every time he'd always say, "The green one makes you horny." Why was he still a teacher? I have no idea. So the secret comes. I was in this class with this teacher, and I had like a water thing, like probably this thing only existed in like 2010. It was like a Sobe Life water. It was the pear flavor. It was my favorite, and it kind of was like this yellow color. It was a clear bottle so you could see the color, and it was in my backpack, and it rolled out. And this teacher came up and like he found the bottle, and he was like, "Whose pee is this? Like, whose pee is this?" Because it kind of looked like pee color. I'm like terrified. I'm like, I cannot put myself through this. Obviously, I did not admit to it. Nobody else did because it was, it was mine. So obviously no one else did. And I was terrified. And to this day, I just need to admit it was my pee.
First of all, this teacher does sound incredibly weird. The whole have a green if you're horny. I don't know what it is. Like there's just something about like male teachers, creepy male teachers. I don't know. Like, I never really had, fortunately, any like creepy male teachers in my life, but like that is like traumatizing.
It's so funny that she says how this person is still a teacher, because back then you could get away with
I know.
so
That's
many
the thing
things.
is like, I don't know how old you are, but like, you just like think about if a teacher did that these days.
And once a teacher is tenured, right? And
Right,
there's a teachers
hard.
union. Oh, it's real hard to get rid of them.
Yeah, I know. Creepy teachers. Thank God I never had to deal with one, but it's like, it really is traumatizing. Like some of these things, like I've heard from like friends that have like people, you just never forget it.
But there's also so many great teachers out there.
Of course.
I always have to give that disclaimer just because I have cousins that are teachers, and teachers are so underpaid and so underappreciated.
But it's always like,
but there's still some creepy ones.
Or like, I don't know if she said what grade, or he was a sex ed teacher. Ugh, even weirder. But then also I'm like, wait, did you really pee in the bottle, or it looked like pee? I'm thinking she said it
looked like pee.
Yeah, I mean, he probably did something weird with it.
Potential
afterwards.
solution. She should have just picked it up and started chugging it. Not said a word.
Not said, yeah. Drank it all and then said, yeah, that was my pee.
You know what else is funny about the Jolly Rancher thing?
What?
I do remember, like as kids, like probably junior high, talking about that a certain color makes you horny on Jolly Rancher.
I was wondering too. I was like, when she said that, I'm like, wait, was that like a thing?
I have absolutely heard. And again, I'm older. I'm 44. So in 2010, when she was in high school, I was damn near my 30s.
Right.
When I was a kid, as junior high, which would have been early 90s, I absolutely had heard about like certain Rancher
colors did certain things,
which it was more of a kid's joke. Like I don't think we actually believed it, but we absolutely talked about it.
Never know.
Absolutely talked about it.
That's really funny. Yeah, it is.
So I can validate that for her for sure. Like,
yeah.
But like saying it with your friends is one thing. A teacher saying it to you?
Yeah. That's that is bizarre. And I can just like picture what he looks like, you know, like when you hear something like that, like I can almost like picture it in my head of like what that teacher looks like. But hopefully he's not a teacher anymore at this point in life. So good riddance. All right, James, are you ready for the next one?
Prepared.
Here we go.
So a few days ago, we were doing some artificial insemination. We were collecting semen from our stallion. And one of the local colleges had some of their ag science students come by just to like watch / help out. Sounds weird, but like it's pretty normal. And so when you collect it, somebody has to grab the stallion's penis and put it in a cup to collect the semen. And the owner of the ranch asked if anybody wanted to do it. This woman speaks up and she's like, yeah, I want to do it. Well, she was kind of fumbling with the cup and grabbed his penis as he was ejaculating and just got herself covered in horse cum. Like head to chest and horse levels amounts of semen. And I felt so bad for her because that's just like how does one walk away from being covered in horse semen? So that's just a weird part of this life.
So I always like thought about this because, you know, something I always talk about is how I used to work in the veterinary industry, and there's a huge equine facility, Fairfield Equine Associates.
Lots of money involved in that.
Lots of money, like especially like in like some parts of Connecticut where we're close to. Lots of big money, lots of
There's
horse
a polo
money.
club right up the road from us.
Oh yeah,
There
literally.
is.
Which we still have to. I would like
Greenwich
to
Polo
see
Club?
like what the
yeah.
lavisher up to, but that is such a big part of it is like the artificial insemination of
Not
trying
everyone
to
wants to
breed
deal
these,
with that.
Yeah, that you don't think about. Like when it comes to breeding, obviously, you know, with smaller animals, it's not as big of a deal, but like a horse too, like dealing with a horse, like having.
I had
like,
friends that had to do that with their bulls for breeding
Yeah.
cows. Oh yeah.
That is, it's kind of like fucked up when you think about
Can you
it.
imagine just getting covered in that?
I would actually pass away. I think
You would die immediately.
Yeah, because that's probably a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, bucket.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking about that makes me actually sick.
That's like a bucket.
That is
Yeah.
so gross. Yeah, and that's just like also too like when you think of weird jobs, that is a weird job.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that do like specialize in like fertility, like
Oh yeah.
so that's like what they do all day long.
Yep.
Oh my god. Yeah, does anyone else horse breeders out there? I'm sure you have, or just like odd jobs like that. That is, I love an odd job. Jobs that you're like, oh yeah, people have to do that. They're who, you know, like people, some of the oddest, craziest.
It's got to get done.
Someone's got to do it.
Yep.
Same with like, you know, the ghost hunter people. I'm always like, that's like their job is to just like do overnight ghost hunts, like 24/7. They're just
looking for ghosts.
They've seen some shit. Ripping cigarette butts.
Yeah, but you know what?
A lot of cigarette smokers around here.
You know what didn't happen?
What?
They didn't get covered in horse cum.
True. Could be worse. So great stories this week. Great, obviously very asylum heavy, but you know, it's kind of wild. I really, for some reason, you know, I don't know why I say yes to this stuff, but I also know
it's been a weird trip so far.
It's been very weird, but I love every second of it. Like I also am so excited. Like I keep saying how scared I am, but I also am just so excited. I love just learning about the history of a place. Like even just like to think about too, like going into this asylum tonight, like how there were people who like probably if I had been alive 30 years ago and was like in this area, could have been easily
they would have easily thrown you into one of those.
You would be put into a place like this if you drank too much, if you cheated, if you like some people like have been put in there, they said for gossiping too much,
like just
jealousy, like normal human behaviors, you could get put in a place like that. And just the treatment and like how they looked at mental health years ago versus how they look at it now. It is like this, you know, like you almost have like this gratitude for like, wow, how far we've come from I think this place didn't close until like the 1980s. So whatever the math is on that. How old are we? What's happening? So that was 40 years
40
ago.
years ago.
Like it really
So
wasn't that long ago.
Right around the time of the dinosaurs.
Exactly, James. You little bastard. Anyways, so you can tell where my mind is right now, but I can't wait to share everything that happens with you guys tonight. We love you so much. Make sure, again, we need some more voicemails. And, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you do want to DM me, you can. Weird and Proud Pod on Instagram if you feel more comfortable. But obviously, we like to prioritize the voicemails. Call us in, always anonymous, at that's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. We love you guys so much. Don't forget to get your merch. Keep an eye out for the vlog that probably will be out later this week. It'll be on YouTube to see if we saw any ghosts. What do you think? Here's what I think is kind of like ghost bingo.
I think the Packers will win. Yes.
Packers will win. Apparition. Like if you see a full body apparition.
How many? That's like a lot of spaces. Not really. You can ghost bingo. You'd have to have orb. You'd have to have some low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit. Yeah.
You gotta have
apparition
orb.
would be like
You gotta have unexplained sound.
Weird sound.
What else happens in every single like ghost hunter show?
Like messing with your device.
Hair stands up at the back of your head for no reason.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to have like a cold spell because it's already going to be cold. So that's
we'll have to think about it and we'll work on it. We'll workshop this. But we love you guys so much. Call us in with the voicemail. Check out the merch. Hopefully we don't die tonight because we love you weirdos so much. We're so grateful for you all. And stay safe out there.
You're the best weirdos.
Love ya. Bye, weirdos.